Tiredness, though.
Hey, Dr. Kimberly, it says we're live up there in one of those corners.
It does.
I point like, I don't know where I'm pointing. It's all backwards to me. I'm just here to confuse Beth. Am I pointing to Beth or not? I think I am.
No, go this way.
This way.
Yes, that's
okay.
That's where Beth is.
I'm sorry, Beth.
It's okay.
Next thing you know,
we're gonna start. Do like this. I'm gonna put my cool glass.
Those are cool glasses.
Yeah, these are the wings from. We got these from Southwest.
Yeah, you were on the road last week for real.
Yeah, I was flying, rolling. I had different kind of wheels. Yes, different kind of wheels.
Wheels and then landing gear. Isn't it always scary in an airplane when that landing gear, especially if they don't
hear that
well?
You're like, oh, good.
Yeah. Don't worry, folks. That's supposed to happen. Yeah, right.
It's supposed to. Well, just a couple of things. I think Beth and I were kind of having a conversation in the green room, and the big one was when I first came into the physical disability community. I didn't realize that there was this hierarchy when it came to disabilities, and I just think that it's so interesting. They are shorthanded all around the world, and the airport and the airlines are suffering badly. And we had all of these people who were lined up in Southwest airline wheelchairs. And I'm telling you, every time when we flew out, we left from wonderful Gerald R. Ford Airport and we flew into Baltimore. We get to Baltimore, there were 8 wheelchairs waiting for people. And of course, I fly with my own chairs, so I get, preference, if you will. And, they come bring up my wheelchair, put me in it, and they scooch me on down to the next.
Scooch me on down.
They just scooch me on down, kind of thing. And on the flight home on last night, we had a late flight. Flight left at 4:45 in the evening, going to Chicago Midway. Well, when we came into Terminal B, Southwest, little inn over there, there was a couple. The partner, he was in a Southwest chair, and she was in her own personal scooter, the kind that Heidi has. Hey, Heidi. So in a personal scooter.
Do they have a little horn on them scooters?
They did, but she didn't use her horn like I do.
That's what I was thinking. No. Just checking.
She didn't use it. But what she ended up doing was the two of them, we didn't know they were going to get on the next flight that we were getting on to come to Grand Rapids, but that was not the final. Was that the final stop? No. That plane was going to go over to Vegas after they deboarded us. And I just thought that it was interesting. She was at the counter first to get the ticket for this flight. I was behind her. And then, of course, I got a new ticket for my wheelchair to get it from, Chicago Midway over to Grand Rapids. And she made the assumption that she and her other wheelchair partner were going to be the first ones on the plane. And so they went right by the door, the airplane door, and waited to be seated first. And when I tell you she was livid, when they came over to me and said, okay, the plane will be coming in from Miami. I said, all righty. And once the crew that's going to serve you guys going from Midway to Grand Rapids gets on board, we're going to load you first. Her and her partner began this big uproar. They're cussing and fussing. And this is the part that really got to me was both of them got up. She got up out of her scooter. He got up out of his wheelchair and they both walked away. as I'm still seated. I'm still seated. And it's always that question when you wheel up with a wheelchair. Well, can you walk? Can you stand up? Can you get out of the chair? And when you say no, and because this is my modality, and you see 10 other people who are in wheelchairs that are getting up and they're prancing around, I don't yeah, that part right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if somebody, like needs a wheelchair. True story. I was temporarily, to prove my temporary able-bodiedness. This was back in the summer of 1986. I happened to be living overseas and I twisted my ankle really bad and I had to fly to Spain to go to language school. And going through the airport in Madrid, this one guy, he just and I just felt terribly embarrassed because he's pushing me through the airport in this wheelchair. And he's, I'm holding these old wood crutches and he was just happy to cut to the front of the line. He was just like, guy with a disability, we're cutting him into the front of the line. And of course I'm feeling all whatever, guilty. Look at that. Here I am, 40 years later, still working to not cut to the front of the line. But that being said, it's that going through, but I could have, well, I mean, this guy refused for me to stand up. He just almost was like, sit down, I got you. But anyways, yeah, airlines, but that was back in the good old days, people were a lot less uptight and.
Well, number one, I'm not uptight because I do understand that everyone.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about.
No, I'm just saying in general, I understand that people are disabled temporarily, situationally, or permanently. And so I do know that my friends who have MS, some days their bodies work and sometimes they don't. My friends that have cerebral palsy, sometimes their bodies work and sometimes their bodies don't. And they need a wheelchair. Well, even Megan doesn't have either one of those. And sometimes her body works and sometimes it doesn't and requires a wheelchair. But when you come through with your own, to me, what shows the permanency of your disability and not a limitation to your ability to be ambulatory is when you come with your own personal chair. And so when you come with your own personal chair, to me, that's a big indicator that, hey, this person probably uses this full time and let's be a little courteous. But it's disconcerting, especially for me, traveling and you see 15 people that are being wheeled through from all of the airlines. They're getting assistance. And then when it comes time to get checked and they say, oh, okay, well, can you stand? And everybody gets up out of the wheelchair. So you got 15 people who were being pushed by an airport assist. I pull up with my own personal chair and they all get up and walk through. And then those that have to do the inspection are irritated because I can't get up and check. And so they have to take me to the side, take me through the special section and check me differently than those who can get up, take their shoes off and just walk through. And then they get in a wheelchair and they continue on. So it was just experiencing the irritation from the airport staff that, hey, we have all of these wheelchair users and really you're the only one who can't get up, out of the chair, stand up, let us inspect you, take your shoes off, wheel yourself through. Nope.
Yep. And I'm writing a note because we're going to do a future show with our good friends at the Grand Rapids Gerald R. Ford Museum. Not museum, sorry.
The airport.
That's a different thing downtown. The airport. Yeah, because to really start talking through some more of these issues, because you'd think in this day and age that seeing somebody in a wheelchair shouldn't be a big deal, and again, to your point, it's just like, okay, cool, just wander over here and we got you, as opposed to, like you're alluding to, they kind of do the eye roll and it's like, I guess we'll have to do something extra, right?
It was, especially now Grand Rapids. I will admit, they've always treated me extremely well. I fly out of here a lot. Southwest knows me well, and as soon as they see me, they're extremely accommodating. However, in Atlanta, it was so many people, and all of them, in service. I say service wheelchairs, and they're up just walking around like, "Whoo, yeah, girl," just chit chatting and doing whatever it is that they need done. And they get up, they walk on through and do what they need to do, and and get back in the wheelchair. Uh, but I think that, again, if you see someone that comes with a personal chair, that would be indicator number one to me. This person uses this as their way of walking or being or getting around. And so I probably would not ask them to get up. Please get up out of your chair and and walk on through, and we'll just push it through. Because in Atlanta, one of the things was, I don't understand why you didn't get out the chair. You see everybody had to get out the chair. Why aren't you out of your chair yet? I said, excuse me? Why is she not out the chair? So the young girl who was getting ready to ask me, could I get out of the chair? Whoever, the person to the side that was supervising, said, why is she not out the chair yet? Why you didn't tell her she had to get out the chair, and why her shoes not off? Look at all these people we have. We need to keep this line moving. I said, sir, I need to come through the door that you're standing at. And I said, because this is the way that I stand and I walk. Oh, hold on. We got to go find where Becky at? Why she ain't over here? We got somebody that we got to take somebody over to the side. Just, oh man, we got all this, just the complaint. The complaint.
Right.
The complaint. Because there were 15 other people. Literally, there were 15 people, and in fact, that had just gone ahead of me, and there were 4 more behind me that were already getting out of, again, airport wheelchairs and putting their stuff themselves on the conveyor belt and standing up. And obviously, if I could have done that, I would have followed suit. I'm just thinking, I don't know. But again, I'm handicapped. What do I know?
What do you know? What do you know?
What do I know?
It's just, ay. Who are these people?
I don't know. You say, what more do we need to do? How many more conversations do we need to have? When I tell you that I really appreciated Grand Rapids, because we laughed so hard the whole time, that it came to check in. Because I just said to her, well, hey, they said, you really, when we got here, to the Grand Rapids airport, they immediately escorted us over to the side for, quote unquote, the special search. And it was not an issue at all. Had a person available. Everything was ready. And I told her the only thing, as she was giving the explanation, I said, now, if it's about to be you and I'm going to need you to change your rub, because you can't use the same rub as, person. That was a grown folks joke. But anyway, so she changed the gloves and was fine. And we had a great time, did the inspection and moved on. Just
right.
And I think that we were just as busy. There were more people traveling than I thought that there would be. But they did have a line that was special just for persons, with wheelchairs, to come straight through this way so that they could just make a straight beeline to go over. Now, Atlanta does have a special lane for those who need special assistance. they have wheelchair strollers and those who are transporting, boxes or whatever. They come through a special lane. But when you get up to the front, yeah, the crew up in the front, they weren't ready. They didn't have it like they do in Grand Rapids, that if you come through the special line, we know to take you over to the side, and then this is what we do.
Yeah, because yeah. And especially, I mean, Atlanta is like, isn't it the world's busiest airport or pretty close to it?
Pretty close to it.
And you'd think they would try to iron out such things. Huh.
Yeah, I waited probably about 10 to 15 minutes for them to find someone to pull me through the little special door and then do the special search.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because wonder if, do you know anybody, especially potentially one of your veteran friends that might, have had, like a knee replacement that has metal parts that might send off the alarms, and do you have to carry a card that says, no, that's like they had to put me back together, and please still let me fly.
They did. They asked, "Do you have anything inside of you?" Do you have anything inside of you?
A liver,
the alarm.
I got a heart, some lungs. That's how they ask you?
That was how I was asked.
Do you have anything inside you? So again, because you're in a wheelchair, they asked that question?
They asked me, do you have anything inside of you that will cause the machine to go off that we need to be aware of as we are checking you?
I'm just going to do something random.
I said, no. I said, no, not today. But maybe tomorrow I will. Yeah. We want to say thank you so much. It's about 17 after the hour. Thank you so much for tuning in to Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We want to say thank you to the deaf and hard of hearing. Hey, Beth. She has just been our ride or die girl. No, actually, she's been our roll girl. Yes, ROLL. And we want to say thank you to Disability Advocates of Kent County and to 100 Shades of Disability. And today is, Let's Talk About It Tuesday. And we're talking about, the decorum. With these airports when you're a person with a disability. And I think that's probably one of the little known facts, or I should say at the top of the list when it comes to persons with wheelchairs, that yes, there are some people who use wheelchairs that are ambulatory. There really are. But there are those like myself who are not, and not that I get offended, but if you are ambulatory, I think that there needs to be respect for those who are not. And as we were talking earlier, if you're just now tuning in or you're watching the replay, I was just saying how there was a lady and her partner who were traveling. He was being pushed by a wheelchair, airport wheelchair. She was using her own personal scooter, and they both were angry that they were not going to be seated first, that the airline was going to seat me first, because I call it a lift and twist. I need a lift and a twist for them to get me in the chair. We have to get me right in, and then everybody lifts, and then they twist me around and put me in the chair. And I appreciate Southwest for that. There's never a complaint. Everybody's excited. They're just really surprised how easily we're able to do that. And I said, well, I've been traveling for a while now. And I said, and you get it down pat, and you guys have worked with me. My first couple of times were a little bit rough, but once we figured out how to do it, the airline is like, yes, we love it. And they appreciate it.
Let me just let me just take my highlighter out here.
Okay.
I got my highlighter and highlight that statement that you said, you work with me.
Yes.
That they say, all right, Dr. Kimberly, you've been living with this disability a little bit longer than us because we've been with you for 10 seconds now. Can you give us some pointers to help you out?
Yes.
And they listen to you.
Every time.
Let me highlight that. Every time. Thank you, Southwest Airlines. Shameless plug. They are not a sponsor of Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave yet. But Southwest Airlines, we know Dr. Kimberly knows where you're at. We're going to be asking you for some help. But that being said, it's like, they asked you.
When I tell you, they are just excellent. And the part that I really love this last time flying this past week was that they are so short-staffed. So the service that I would normally get, I didn't because of them being so short-staffed. But when I tell you, they worked with us and they said, look, they told me up front, we are short-staffed, but whatever you need us to do, you're such a good customer. We want to make sure that we accommodate you to the best of our ability. They said, we have a lot of people who are requiring a wheelchair, but we know that you came with your own personal wheelchair and that's how you get around. And so whatever we can do to make this easier. And, this time I wasn't flying by myself. I was flying with my husband. So they were like, do you want to push her or do you want us to push her? And we carry the bags. How do you want us to work this? And then when we get to the plane, let us know because we don't have all of the staffing. And, we're still trying to make sure that we are responsible with the social distancing. And if you guys feel comfortable with touching and how does that work? And my husband said, well, you know what? She can tell you best, but this is the part that I do. And so when I tell you, they say news travels fast and bad news travels even faster. I can guarantee you, based on this week, that a good compliant customer who don't give no problems, that travels faster than bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Faster than bad news, because everybody was like, "Oh, we know who you are. Yeah, what you need us to do? We heard that you was real easy. We yes, we heard that you're easy, and we don't have no problems. So yeah, we're excited to be able to help." I said, "Oh, absolutely,
awesome.
Absolutely."
So, my quick question now, though, Dr. Kimberly, is how do I get this highlighter off my computer screen? It's all yellow lines now on my computer screen. It's highlighted.
We don't. We take a picture of it and we send it to other places and say, hey, if Southwest Airlines can do this, then we as individuals can do this as well. Nice. Okay. Who is this? Oh, we got somebody trying to all right, Stealthy Pear says, undefined. Hello, if you need real free and high quality service to increase your viewers, check streamdetails.com. Top streamers already use it. Well, thank you, sir.
I quick Googleized, traveling with, and it, of course, Google helps you make up your mind. And so it put in traveling with a prosthetic and I clicked on it and it's, this fun line where, and I like their humor. They start with, that overdue vacation, tickets booked, bags packed, dreams of the soothing ocean waves running through your head. But wait, how do you go through the airport with your prosthesis? And then they have some great suggestions. So it's that idea of, and the first one is make sure you carry on what you really, really need, because if you check it, they might lose your baggage, and again, they don't want to, but mistakes happen. And sometimes mistakes are your bags head towards Hong Kong and you're going towards Atlanta. So
right.
You don't want that. So you got to have stuff with you, right?
Absolutely.
But then there's this whole paragraph about airport security is your first concern. So,
well, out of the plethora of persons that were using airport wheelchairs, I didn't see anyone who had a prosthetic, or I didn't see any amputees. No, didn't see any of those. I saw plenty of people who had injuries that were on crutches that helped. I did see one blind person, but he was traveling with someone, and I didn't hear them complain. They did well. They came on through. They were treated kindly.
good.
Yeah, they were treated very kindly. But I have to say, I've been flying Southwest for, let's see, I've been in a wheelchair for 8 years. So I started flying, I think, after my first year. So 7 years I've been flying with Southwest. Yeah. And they've been, I would have to say, great. They're at the top of the list. But again, it's a service that anyone can use. And all you have to do is, as you're booking your ticket, it says if you need special assistance, you just click all the boxes and everything that you need them to do. And what I love is that they carry the handheld iPads. It has your name, your information. They have your picture next to it. And so, like, when we got in last night, it was almost 11 something at night. And they had a person waiting right there at the door to escort. She even said, hey, do either one of you need to stop at the restroom? We have restrooms here. Do you need anything to drink before we get started? We said, no, we're good to go. She says, okay. She even went and got the cab for us while we were waiting for the bags to get put on the terminal, to come around.
Mm-hmm.
She went out and she said, so did you guys park? I said, no, we Ubered here. And I said, because we don't live that far from the airport, so there's no need, to pay that extra cost. I said, we just Ubered. And definitely that was free because I have so many Uber Eats points. So I think I had over 5,000 and some Uber Eat points that I could use for a ride. So I said, we'll just use those that pay for our ride to the airport. And I said, but not sure what time, we'll be in and trying to coordinate a time to come back. I said, that's going to be kind of crazy. And I said, well, do they still have cab service? She says, oh, yeah. She says, don't worry about it. I will secure you a cab as well. I said, oh, my God. Again, this is a service that came through Southwest Airlines. They had their person there. She had her iPad, had my name, my picture, my information, and just what I needed, and grabbed us. She got our bags off of the little turnstile thing and took us right out there. Had already secured the cab. I mean, just great service.
See, that's a company that understands that repeat business is like the best business.
Absolutely.
It's trying to get a customer in the door the first time. That's what people say, the whole expense of marketing and trying to get their attention and get them in. But once you get somebody in, you either
keep them.
You either keep them or you send them away forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's a local lumberyard that'll go nameless that they just refuse to give me a refund on day 31. It's not that I'm the world's busiest person. However, the receipt says you get a refund after 30 days or before 30 days. And I went in on day 31 and they said, we're sorry, sir. And I said, are you kidding me? And I haven't been back. I don't know. Maybe it just struck my soul wrong that day. But there are other lumber places in town. So it's not like, I'm missing anything. But to like the airlines, we have a few options out of Kent County.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Atlanta, Georgia, where every airline in the world probably flies into it and then some. But Southwest Airlines understands they Yeah, they like a good customer, and you're a good customer.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting that one of their ticket agents recognized me about 6 weeks ago when I went to get my nails done, and they were giving me a hard time because I was in a wheelchair. And
This was at the salon.
yes, 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 yeah. You'd be surprised, when you have to ask for special accommodations and people don't want to make those accommodations, and that's truly up to them. But I just thought that it was, I came in pretty unassuming and just wanted to get my nails done. And I had brought a guest with me that had flown in to visit. And she got real defensive with me. And then there was another customer that came in and she got waited on before me. And they were still trying to make the decision about were they going to, provide service to me and what was that going to look like. And well, she could just go someplace else, is basically what they were saying, because we have to make all these extra accommodations for her. And this customer that came in said, I know you. She says, I think that you're somebody important, like a doctor or something, and you travel all the time because you speak in different places. I think the last place I saw you, she said you were flying to Kansas City to go and be a speaker. And I said, yes. And she said, yeah, you always seem to travel around the fall time. That must be your time, your speaking time. And I started laughing because I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to fly out again. It's the fall. And she
Going
says,
south, going south
yeah.
in the fall.
So she says to them, you don't know who this is. This lady is like somebody really important. So they're like, no, 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 VIP, VIP, VIP. Oh, I just shook my head.
As you should,
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, we could do for you. You don't have to leave. What you want, we do for you. But I just think it's interesting how, the good Lord has a way of validating you. When you feel like you're being treated unfairly, that I appreciate the fact there's always somebody there that can attest to who it is that you are and what you do. And I think that those are the moments that I get the most sad, when you can make things happen for other people and when you're ready to go and have something as simple as, maybe you want a pedicure or you want to get your nails done and they look at you, you're in a wheelchair. Well, why you can't get out the chair? I need you to do it this way. And you said, well, no, I can't, but I can show you how you can assist me and how you can serve me. And that I sat for more than an hour waiting for them to decide how they were going to help me or not, or, provide the service to me or not. And that here comes some random person in who just happens to be a Southwest airline employee that says, I know her. She flies a lot with us. And I know that she's somebody important. She's a doctor or something or another. And I was just like, wow. Yeah. Just in those moments that I say, I really don't like this chair. It's like, God, are you listening to me? Are you seeing the things that keep happening? But yeah.
Yes, indeed. It is back to our highlighted line of they listen to you, they asked you, you are the expert in you.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that experience at the salon, you needed that footnote reference, like when you're writing your doctorate, you got to footnote the authority.
Oh my goodness, don't they?
So you had the authority on, you as legitimate human, and they unfortunately needed that at that moment.
They did. Now, On another note, I think that it's really interesting how busy the airlines were. I mean, when I tell you that the airports were just, oh, booming, there was not one person who was fighting against wearing the mask. And on my first leg on Thursday, they said it right over the PA system. The proper way to wear your mask is over your nose and over your mouth. If you have a problem with that, you may now get up and leave the airplane and you may get your ticket refunded because you may not fly with Southwest Airlines without number one, wearing a mask, and number two, wearing it properly.
Mm.
And it's amazing. Nobody bucked up and complained and said, it's my right to choose whether I want to wear a mask or not. Not one person. You know, everybody wants to, quote the First Amendment that they have the right of freedom of speech. But I guarantee you, nobody's going to go in the airport and say, bomb, or get on the plane and say, hey, I got a bomb in my bag. Nobody's going to do that.
Yep.
Freedom of speech.
Yes, freedom of speech, and what are the consequences that you're willing to accept for that? And, there's another group we're going to have on soon. There's a proposed housing development, and the neighbors, of course, are not happy. And the word is NIMBY, not in my backyard. But it's like, I can do anything I want on my property, and I can tell you what I want you to do on your property. But you can't tell me what I want to do on my property. I mean, again, people's, what's the word for it? Some would say hypocrisy, but just people's like, I'm doing what I want, but you can only do what I want you to do.
I call that selfishness.
Selfishness is another good word for it.
I think that it's the self gratification, the selfishness. That it's like being a 2-year-old. 2-year-olds are just like, I want what I want, and I want it now. It doesn't matter what it costs, and how many other people are affected, and they fall on the floor and they have tantrums, and then you pop them and they get up and they're like, oh, okay, I can't have that, huh? No, and not like that. But it was just amazing to me. The other thing is they said you cannot wear bandanas, and you can't wear the scarves, and you can't wear the they've got like just a little knit thing that just kind of goes around that looks like you're about to rob a bank. They said you can't wear those. You need you need to wear a full surgical type mask, or like the one that you have. You need to wear a mask like that. And it's amazing. All of these people who have absolutely no problem with doing that.
Yeah.
Just none. But the kids need to be in school, and you're going to say, hey, we're not doing it. We're not going to be compliant. And yet they were traveling with their children, and their children were masked properly.
At least they're trying to take care of their kids. Right?
I don't understand it. You can wear a mask to fly to Disney World, but you can't wear a mask to be educated. Yeah. Disney says you have to have a mask on while you're in their facility. And they do state, as they're giving out the instructions about, okay, if you're going to sit by the window, how to help everybody, this is how you put your seatbelt on, this is how you get the oxygen. And so now a part of the instructions that you're given is, if you do not want to comply with wearing the mask and wearing it properly, you may now be escorted off. And if we find that you can't be compliant, we will personally escort you off, and you will be fined, and you will go to jail. Now, I went and I looked it up. Biden signed it. He sent it to TSA. TSA has been enforcing it across the entire United States, and nobody has bucked or been on television, created a protest, nor have they burned down an airport. Mm-hmm. They have just complied. without pushback. And so I guess I'm just trying to understand
And
why.
and other people have said it, like there was one guy who tried to have the shoe bomb, and luckily nobody died because of the shoe bomb. However, you mentioned it earlier, we got to all take our shoes off to get on an airplane. It's
Mhm.
just, I got to take my shoes off, no big deal. We are almost 700,000 people in this country have died of COVID, and we're still complaining about wearing a mask, getting vaccinated. Now, again, we've had conversations, folks. There are people who can't wear masks for real,
Mhm.
can't get vaccinated for real. But if we all of us who can wear masks and get vaccinated, they're going to be safer. And it's like, do it for your neighbor. Ay, ay, ay.
I
But
don't get
we
it.
digress into, and so again, some things, it's not a problem. I'll take my shoes off, as opposed to, you can't make me take my shoes off.
I didn't hear one person say that.
You can't make me not bring in more than 4 ounces of my shampoo. Look at all this hair here. I need 10 ounces of shampoo, and I need it in my carry-on.
I didn't hear anybody say that.
I'm glad you didn't hear anybody say that.
Woo! I mean, even when we came in from Midway, they said, "Hey, it is a full flight. So what we're going to need you to do is, if you have a purse and a carry-on, and your carry-on is a little bit bigger than this, because we kind of let you get away with it, you're not going to be able to. Can you please come up to the desk and go ahead and check, so that everybody can at least have the opportunity to have 2 bags on, a carry-on and a backpack, or a purse and a backpack, whatever your 2 things are." Do you know there were people that went right over there and went ahead and checked their bag in? Because they said, "I think my bag might be over the size," so that everybody could get, their 2 on. There was no complaint. There was just none. And they talked about the safety, of the people. They talked about the safety of social distancing, the safety of, even when you're eating because of the new mandate, we're only going to serve you Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, and coffee, and you will only get a snack. And please only take your mask down to take a sip from your drink, or to put food in your mouth, and then cover your face and nose back up, please, and thank you. It does not mean that you get to hold your mask down the whole time that you're just holding your drink. If you are just holding your drink and you are not actively drinking, we will come by and ask you to please put your mask back up. And what I tell you, they gave such explicit instructions, and there was nobody on that airplane that gave them any pushback, talk back. It was nothing. You could hear a mouse piss on cotton down in Mississippi, and we was all the way in Baltimore, Maryland. It was that quiet. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
And so again, when I say there are transferable skills, it's like, if you can do it over here, you can do it everywhere. You really can.
Yeah.
And I'm just disappointed in the American people right now. I'm just disappointed in you. Disappointed.
Yeah. It is so, so, so unfortunate and sad that, it's like, do we have to like walk around like kindergartners and pretend we're on an airplane? Maybe other people say, "Oh my gosh, I'm on an airplane.
Let me put my mask on.
Put my mask on."
Let me put a mask on.
Because when I'm on an airplane, I'll care about other people. But when I'm in the grocery store, I don't know.
And you don't have fresh circulating air in that airplane. Closed tight. Once that door is shut, it's like scary.
Double scare. However,
Yeah.
Take
Well, can you
care.
believe it? It is now 4:45.
You know, the time is just a flying. I'm sitting here bamboozled. Um, yeah, because I'm just gonna say that it goes by too fast.
It does. I remember in the beginning when people were like, "Oh my God, you want us to talk for how long?" And I was like, "Dave and I could do that by ourselves with our eyes closed."
And here we are, but you kept your eyes open today.
It's okay, go over the time.
Because
But
I had to highlight some stuff and I had to pretend I was an airplane, so I need my eyes open.
just a little bit.
There you go, my airplane. Ooh, there's a new sign, airplane.
Do it. Oh, airplane goes this way.
Airplane's this way, not this way. That's just me being this. Okay. I thought they were like zombie airplanes.
We're creating new words.
As we speak. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it.
So we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for flying with me last week as I did the show from Baltimore's airport.
This is what rolling on the road is all about, folks. It's if you're not going to be flexible and roll with what life gives you, we'll continue to pray for you and help you get rolling, because life is all about rolling.
It is. It really is. But we want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. Thank you to the Deaf or Hard of Hearing and to 100 Shades of Disabilities and Disability Advocates of Kent County. Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Talk soon.
It's the beginning of the week, so this is just a comma and not a period, and we'll see you soon.